Click like, click share, subscribe. Good morning, everyone. All you sugarheads lover, that's me. Story time. Someone asked me a question about why me and my Spanish neighbor don't get, why me and my neighbors don't get along, why me and my Spanish neighbors don't get along in particular. I'll tell you the story. When I first moved around here, I got the keys and everything. And on my very first day, I wasn't in the house but an hour, and there was a knock on the door, and it was the Spanish the Spanish guy's wife, his baby mother. Very nice girl, tall, skinny, and she was talking to me a little bit. Welcome to the neighborhood, blah 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 blah. Then she told me something was wrong with her phone. Can she call her baby father? So I said okay, her husband or something. She said to me. So I said okay. I handed her my phone, and she made the phone call, whatever, and she, like I said, she welcomed me to and she gave me back the phone or whatever, and I said, oh, okay, I got his number. It's nice to have somebody's number around your neighborhood, so I kept his number in my book, in my phone, and that's how I got his number, because she came and she asked me to use the phone on the very first day that I was here. I didn't think nothing of it or whatever. Joseph Reyes. Cool guy. Very cool guy. When I see him, I would say hi. When he sees me, he say hi. His mom, I don't think I ever spoke to his sister. I think, we waved, me and his brother-in-law waved or whatever, or say hi or something, a couple of times, Yeah, I did think, yeah, I did think I said hi to his sister. But anyway, when they come out the house and they see me, they say hi. When I come out my house, I see them, I say hi. I started having family members stay with me, and I needed the parking. At that time, there was no sign up on the street. There was no sign here. Anybody can park wherever. And so it's just me. So then family members started coming to stay with me, and they had vehicles. So there it was Joseph sold cars, and he would park his car all along the side of my house. I didn't mind that because I was, I wasn't really thinking that. But then I started having people stay with me, so I thought that, they would use their common sense and at least leave a spot for my family. So anyway, there was this one lady, she had a BMW truck. Her and her husband is tall, skinny, bald, and I guess he ran a lot or something, because he was always in track shoes and stuff like that. And I think they had 2 children and a dog. She would park her car there and leave it. She would walk past, because they lived this way, so she had to walk this way to go to work. She would walk past the car, check on it to make sure it's okay, and leave it. She wouldn't move the car for days. I spoke to her about it. She told me she can park wherever she want to park, and she's been parking here for 14 years. And she's going to continue parking there for as long as she wants to. I said, I don't mind you park. I just need you to park and move the car, because cleaning has to be done, and you just keep leaving your car there, and it can't be cleaned or whatever the case may be. And plus, I need the spot for my peoples. And I explained to her, I said, well, I have family members now. I don't mind if you park, but you can't leave it there days on, weeks and on. That's not your parking. You live in a house. Why can't you talk to your landlord and rent a parking spot from your landlord, or what have you? Or if you park here, get up the next morning and move your car. But no, you want to park there for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then when you and your husband leave, you come back and you want to take up the whole spot. So between her, Joe, and the Haitian, so now the Haitians, I have to call them by, where they're from, because I don't know some of their names. So the Haitian couple now, they had children. So the children was growing up, starting to drive. The daughter had a rundown old car. I can't remember. I can't recall the make of it. But I always saw the car there. But I didn't know who car it was. I just saw that car always there. And then when that car leave, another car would be in. A black car would be, parked up. I didn't know. So when I confronted the lady with the BMW SUV, she asked me, well, why don't you talk to Gene about his car? His car been parked up here for months. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was their car. I would see the car, but I wouldn't know who car it was. And then my other neighbor, the Jamaican lady, me and her was mad close, and she always get her lawn cleaned. By the guys, they would come and do the leaves and the trees and stuff like that. So I asked her one day, I said, well, can you get the number? Can you talk to the guys about doing my backyard and stuff like that? Because I need the front of my house clean and I need my backyard clean. So what she did is on that day he came to think I wasn't here. So she asked them, can they do the front of my house and the back of my thing? So the guy told him, I'm not doing on the front of your house because the car is there and he don't want to be liable for the car just in case they want to claim that their machine scratched the car. So she asked Gene to move the car because she knew who car it was. I didn't at the time, but she knew, and she went over there and asked Gene, can Gene and his wife, can they move? Because every time you talk to Gene, Gene always say, talk to my wife. So she went over and talked to Gene or the wife, and they said they're not moving it unless I give them the deed to my house to make sure I own the house. And I found that kind of strange, but later on I found out that people just used to rent this house, not own it. The owner of the house just used to rent it out to people, so they thought that I was just a renter. But the Jamaican lady used to tell me, even the people who used to rent it, they used to save a parking spot for her. But she had her husband and her children here. You understand? And everybody used to save them parking spots. So nobody would park. And if they park and they knew what time the husband or the wife was coming home from work, they would move their car. They wasn't showing me the same respect. Okay? I didn't have nothing with them at that time. So one time, at that time when the guy wanted to do the front of my house, and he said no, and she told me or whatever, and she said she went over to Gene and asked Gene, and Gene told her that I need to show her the deed for my house. Okay, so then Gene's son and Gene's daughter used to switch cars, or his two daughters used to switch cars. When one of the daughters would go out, the other daughter would put her car in place so nobody would get that spot. So the lady with the BMW truck told me about it, and that's how I found out whose car it was there all the time. Meanwhile, people in my house can't find no parking. Meanwhile, if you come around the block, Gene has like 6 spots for their cars. Their problem was they don't want to be opening the gate all the time to go in and out their gate. When you park by my house, you can just get in your car and roll out. You understand? And with Joe and his dealership business, sometimes he would have places to park the car, or sometimes maybe something would go on with the storage place, so he would bring his car over there. But I'm saying, okay, you got at that time his brother-in-law and his sister was living with them or whatever. So I'm saying to myself, okay, you also got place for 6 cars. Park your dealership car in the back, so you don't never have to move them, and park you guys' car in the front. Because it was his car, his mother's car, his sister's car, his sister and his sister's car, and his sister's husband's car. It was 3 cars. You understand? Two trucks, because his mom and him and his mom drove trucks, and his sister used to drive a car. Okay, so it's 3 of y'all. 3 of y'all got cars, but it's 3 spots in the back. Just take your dealership cars, put them in the back, and put in the front, and leave my space open. If you got to park now and then for whatever, come to me, say, yo, G, can I use this spot? Blah, blah, blah. It's going to be there for a minute, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. They would just park, break, and 3 times my gate got broken, and nobody took offense to that. So that's when I started getting upset, because 3 times I had to pay someone to fix my gate, because somebody keep crashing into my gate and breaking my gate, and nobody would be responsible. So when I wake up in the morning, my gate is broken and I'm looking around, nobody would come and say, well, so and so and so and so, I'll pay for it, blah blah blah. It was a mistake, Miss G, blah blah blah, and fess up to it. So then I really start getting upset. So then there was this one truck that stayed there for 8 months. So I asked my relatives, whose car is that? He said, oh, that's Joe's car. Then my neighbor, Paul, he said, yeah, yeah, I'm giving names. So, cause at first I thought it was Paul's car. So before I talked to my relatives, I saw Paul outside. That's my other neighbor. I said, Paul, is that your car? Because Paul fixes cars for a living, and he also used my spot. Every time somebody fixed their car, every time he has a customer, he used to tell them, line them up at the side of my house. You understand? And like I said, I don't mind if you use the spot. Move your car the next day. So Paul, he has his backyard and stuff like that. Don't want to use it, but always using my spot. Not leaving things from. So Paul used to be leaving his cars there too, but Paul's car used to be moved in a couple of days. Meanwhile, Jean's car is always there, and Joe's car is. I never had no problem with the Jamaican chick because she, her guests used to park on the street, or if she did. One thing about her, if she had to park in my spot, she would call me. Yo, Ron, can I use your spot? My brother want to come and park up, and so and so and so and so. Or a friend of mine is visiting. Can I use the spot? She was the only one that would call me. And then my other neighbor, when her sister or any of her guests they would park in her sister used to park by my house, but I know her sister. Me and her sister used to work together, and as officers, so I knew her. But her sister used to knock on my door. Yo, she would not. I'm parking here for a few minutes. I'm visiting my sister. Boom. And then all her visitors would drive directly into their driveway. So I never had no problem with her, but everybody else I had problems with. I did not mind people park, just moved the next day. So anyway, so the BMW truck, I confronted her, and that's how I found out it was Jean. Joe, he left the car there for 8 months. I counted the months. So Paul told me it was Joe's. My family told me it was Joe's. I went to Joe. Joe says it's not his. Then I called the people. They moved the truck wherever. They asked me where. I said, I don't care where you move it. Just move it from my spot. So they moved it. Then Joe, a couple of days later, saw me. He said, Yolanda, I couldn't tell you at the time because he sold the car to somebody. The person wasn't paying on the car, so he repossessed the car, but he didn't put it on his thing. He put it by my gate. You understand? On my parking spot. So he didn't have the key to the car. He had the car towed over here, and they towed it on my spot, but he left it on the spot, and it was crooked. It was blocking my entrance of my back door. I couldn't get in. I had to go all the way around, and my family had to go all the way around just to get around, just get, at that time I didn't have a gate, just to get into my back door. So, he apologized. I said, you could have saved me some time and energy. All you have to do is say, yo, I'm having some issue. You didn't have to even go into the issue. And can it stay here for a little bit more? Because I'm trying to clean my area. I can't clean it because this SUV is for 8 months. For 8 months. So then, I'm trying to figure out where it went left with me and Joe. You understand? And I think that was the point. And then so he kept putting cars by my house, and my gate kept being messed up. And then I bought a whole bunch of ornaments and stuff for my gate. All of a sudden my stuff started breaking up, and every time his moms used to compliment me on my stuff, and all of a sudden the stuff ended up breaking. I had a barbecue. I tried to invite everybody on the block. I said, okay, maybe Maybe they upset now they losing parking spot. Yeah, I just got on the block. I took fault for all that. Even though after all the stuff they doing me, I took a fault. I said, okay, they used to doing stuff certain way. They used to always park in here. So okay, and I'm taking the parking away from them. They not understanding what they're doing wrong. So I'm gonna take blame. So I had a barbecue. I invited the whole block. So I approached Jean's eldest daughter. She told me, get the fuck away from her. Get the fuck away. I never spoke to her before. I said, oh, I'm having a barbecue. Fuck you, I ain't coming. Fuck you. Don't tell me the shit about your fucking barbecue. Fuck you. That's how she came off to me. I said, all right, no problem. I'm just inviting everybody on the block to a thing. Because I told the Jamaican chick, because at the time me and her was still talking. I said, I'm trying to invite everybody. I said, why don't you do? I said, I'm having a barbecue. I said, invite everybody off the block, and see if they'll come. She said, well, she can't come because her and her brother is having a barbecue. Her brother live in Jersey and stuff like that. So, yeah, Jean's daughter, the Haitian chick, his eldest daughter, I don't know if that's his eldest, but his older daughter, because he has two living over there, a young one and an older one. The older one cursed me out because I didn't see the young one. And she just cursed me the F out. And all I was doing is trying to invite her. The mother is off the hook because I approached the mother about the car situation, and she told me she told me that's her parking spot. She said that it's in front of her door, so she can park there if she want to. I said, in what life are you living that just because we're neighbors and that parking spot is facing opposite your house is your parking spot? So she was nasty. So after that, I never spoke to her again. Because every time I spoke to Gene, he would always say talk to his wife. So I don't want to disrespect nobody think by approaching their husband. So I did what he said. I approached his wife and tried to speak to her and see what the problem was. You got 6 or 7 parking spots in your thing. Why are you trying to steal my little 1 parking spot? Or my little 2 parking spot? Because when I first moved on this block, that day that I moved in, the daughter's car was in front of my house, parked up. And so happened, I was asking around whose car, and I asked the right person. They said, oh, that's Jean's car. So I guess they called Jean and they moved the car off the spot. So they was taking over the spot. So that's what happened. So as far as me and Joe, I think that was the day, thing. And then, okay, he left the car there for 8 months. That was the beginning of the issue. Then what happened was he would sneak cars in front of my house, on the side of my house, and then don't tell me, and then leave the cars there. So one time, I was looking at my cameras, and I saw a tow truck come in and parked up a car right by my gate. I said, okay. Then I saw somebody else behind the truck, 2 other people pull up and pulled up all the cars by my gate. I ran outside. So I said, excuse me, what are you doing? He said, oh, Joe told us to park the cars here, blah, blah, blah. I hope you don't mind. I said, I don't mind if it's don't stay there too long. So can you tell Joe to come talk to me and let me know how long these cars is going to stay here? Or else you're going to have to move it. Because if it's going to stay here for months, you're going to have to move them. Because I need the spots, and I don't want nothing in front of my car for months, in front of my house for months, because I have problem getting people to clean in by my house. And on this block, it's a very thin block. At least this side try to keep, in front of their houses clean. So I ran outside and found out it was Joe that told his people park up all the cars by my house. So when I told him that, some more cars came and took the whole strip. But I told him the message, so I didn't bother going outside. So then, I think they left it there or whatever, and a couple of days later it was moved or whatever, and that's the beginning of the thing. So one day I was having a 4th of July party, and I invited them. And I asked them, what do you drink? I'm just trying to break the ice. I'm like, okay, everybody's used to parking where they want to park. There's a new person in town now, so they're not used to it yet. Parking this kind of thing on the block. So I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand their thing, but they're not understanding me. They're not being nice. They're not leaving me no parking or nothing. And then, they telling me they can park there anytime that's their spot and blah, blah, blah. And it's 14 years. And they're giving me all these stories instead of understanding, okay, somebody bought the house, so they have a family. You live in a house. How come you can't park up where you live? Because the lady with the husband and the 2 kids and the dog, she live all the way at the beginning of the block, not even at the end where I'm at. So she be. So I told all of them. I'm like, listen, I don't mind you park, but the next day you have to move. You can't just keep your car there forever and forever. You can't. Because my people's in parking, and I have people's in the house. She'll come some kind. And then one of the other guys said, "Well, I'm tired of park. I don't want to park 2 blocks away." Oh, but you want my family to park 2 blocks away? Okay, and then you want to leave the car whenever you want to leave her, and then you tell me your aunt is on the next block, and your aunt have parking right there. Why can't you park over by your aunt? So all this is about parking. So I remember one time I was speaking to Joe, and he said, well, you need to put me in charge because I know people's. But I didn't know what he meant by that. You understand? And I'm walking around the block. Everybody got parking except me. So then my family started coming to me in my ear. I don't have parking. I got parking. I got the kids. I got parking. I don't got. And every day. And they, at this time, they starting to know who's there, or whatever. You understand? So I'm like, all right. Let me see if I can talk to them. Nobody want to listen. I called the city. I explained to the city, listen, my neighbors won't let me park by my own house. What can I do? Because this is a private block. There's no signs of no parking or whatever. I mean, on the other side, because it's a one way thing. Sometimes they use it for 2, but it's a one way thing. But everybody can park by their house, plus they got driveways and stuff like that. You understand? And I have to park around my house. And they won't even let me do that. Then they get mad when I ask them to move their car. And you not consider it and say, okay, thanks for letting me park. I'll move it the next day. They don't want to do that. They want to act like they living in my house and they can park up there for days and days and days. And, and all of them was arguing with me about it. And this chick with the BMW lived in a house because it's the only houses on this block. You and your husband and your kids. If you didn't own the house, why don't you talk to your landlord? You have parking over there. Why don't you ask your landlord to give you? And you told me you live here 14 years. Why can't you get parking over there where you live? You didn't want to pay for it, but you want me not to have parking? Maybe your landlord was charging you to park. You didn't want to pay, but you inconveniencing me. And I said, I told you you can use it, but you have to move your car the next day. You didn't even want to do that. Bitch, fuck you. So she don't live around here no more. The other guy don't live around here no more. I'm still, dealing with the Haitians and Joe and the Jamaican chick, but I never had no problem with the Jamaican chick. It's them too. Anytime they have a guest, park over there. Then they got a 1,000,001 tenants over there. And they want to park. But I spoke to the tenants. I did say, because they some Arab guys. I spoke to the tenants. I'm like, listen, my cousin is coming here. Can you not stay here overnight? And he said, okay, I'm going in the house and I'm going to move the car. And ever since then, he never parked there no more. They was taxi drivers. I don't know if all of them is taxi drivers, but that particular one was a taxi driver. He said, okay, no problem. But anytime they have guests to fix their house, to visit their kids, to visit them, their family members, they park by my spot. I don't mind that because I know they're going to move in a couple of hours. I don't mind that. But then, when my family members come to park, they can't park nowhere. I can't go up, open your gate and go in your yard and park. And Joe's parking spot is wide open. I can't tell my family, okay, well, Joe is not here right now. Park in Joe's spot, and if he comes and you're there, I'm gonna let him know it's you and you can move it. I can't tell them to do that. I cannot do that. And they supposed to be wide open when I have family visiting or friends. If it was a good neighbor, I could have called you, say, Joe, my cousin is gonna park at this spot. When you come in, I can't do that, but y'all can do it to me, and y'all want to get pissed off. That's not right. So, it started this battle of the thing. So he started calling his people because I think his mama dates some cop or whatever, and she came over here one day and told me that she worked for the city and whatever. So then all the nonsense started going, and they knew people at the Benz thing, so they would find out. I don't know how they found out, but like I said, the wife, that's their gimmick. They into a lot of fraud shit. See, I wasn't getting into nobody's business at the time, but I started getting into the business. I said, let me find out about these people. It's the wife who knows some of the cops, not maybe Joe, but the wife and the mama. Because one time, I think my sister or somebody was parked up, and I saw the cop come, but my sister was on her way out, and the cop pulled up. Because as soon as they park, they call, and the cops come running and want to distribute tickets. But so happened my sister was leaving or something. I can't remember if it was my sister or my cousin. And the cop and the wife was outside, and I saw the cop stop by the wife and started talking to the wife, the tall, skinny one, not the Indian one, because he got a couple of baby mamas. So in my book, I think it's the wife that knows him, because she's the one into all the shit. Because every time something's going on, I see the car pull up. Yeah, and she's the one who handled my phone, and stuff started happening to my phone and whatever. Yeah, she's into that, whatever it is. And she's the one probably knows the cops. I can't remember her name. She gave me some name. I can't remember the name. It's not a typical Spanish name. I think she's half Italian, half Spanish or something like that. I can't remember. But, yeah. So then the mom, I had solar lights and stuff, all ended up broken. Then I had planters outside. I was trying to pretty up my house. Planters, it would end up broken. My gate ended up broken a couple of times. Then I started, my son started a B&B because he's like, Mom, I rent out my room, blah, blah, blah. So they found out that I had a B&B. They would send their family, friends to fuck up my house twice. Every time there's a customer, I got to be like, damn, it's somebody that I, around here fucking with. They would not leave me alone. They just started, I'm minding my business, and even my son have a B&B business, and they would tell them, go on the site and pretend to be a customer, go in there and fuck up the house or do whatever. And they would come here and mess up my house. And then with B&B, I was trying to get on the high echelon thing, because the more good reviews you have, the higher you can charge, and they would put you in a different category of B&B. So therefore, they would come in, be customers, and give me bad reviews. plus mess up my house. And then when I would try to get insurance, try to have the insurance company come check out of what they do, they would tell me, send pictures of it. They would go in, I don't know how they do it. They would go in and take pictures off my website and put it on their website and try to claim the insurance. And then a couple of customers that would try to come here and rent my spot, they would redirect the customers to their spot because they have my my pictures up on their site. Same area, almost same address, just a different number. And when the customer go in there, the customer would probably look, perplexed. And then they would send their friends, because most of the friends were Spanish and Haitian, and they would send their friends to rent my spot, mess up my house, and then when they rent the spot, they would sleep, enjoy the spot. Then they would not pay, try not to pay, and ask for child. And I'm like, these people would do stuff to you, and then when you finally react, they get upset. So then I would call Airbnb, and I would say, okay, this customer so and so and so and so, they messed up the house, whatever. Come to find out, somebody on this block knew the person, and then they would give me bad reviews, and they didn't want me to elevate in the Airbnb business. So it's a lot. They being bullies and they being upset, and they don't want me to achieve nothing, me and my son or whatever. And so I because I was cheap, I was $100 a night. And so they would have that $100, and then they would give me bad review, and then they would leave my house in a mess and come steal all my food, because I would leave food in the fridge for people, like food and water. Food you can put in the microwave and stuff, and some water and juices and stuff like that. They would come when I'm not in the area, or when I'm sleeping or whatever, and steal all the food and try to mess stuff up downstairs. But every time they would leave my house in a mess. Every time. So I just got fed up, and I stopped doing that. I told my son, I was like, listen, these people, I don't know what's their problem. So they started having B&Bs. I don't know what they be.